you. Thank you, Ben.
All right, guys. So I'm here today with my man Alex Morris, who's happily or very kindly supported our membership group. We're in tough times at the moment, owning a gym. We've been shut down for about a month now. So we're looking for ways to provide as much value to our members and hopefully the larger community. It's a tough time for all, so we're trying to do everything we can. And Alex kindly jumped on board and put his hand up and has helped out and put together this awesome nutritional pack for us, because we all know stressful times, we turn to the convenience food, the alcohol, the simple stuff that ultimately pulls us down a bit of a rabbit hole. So welcome, Alex.
Hey, man. Lovely to continue talking to you now that we started recording.
Yeah. So I guess I just wanted to chat to you about your insights. I know you deal or have dealt with this in the past in terms of you've been in the industry, you've done some boot camps, and now you're working with multiple gyms and people in the industry. What are the things you're hearing out there?
The sky is falling pretty much from a lot of people, man. But the gyms I work with and I'm friends with the owners of are all small gyms. So they're all people who have 1 or 2 gyms maximum. And from these people, I'm just seeing awesome adaptation to the situation. I think it couldn't have happened at a better time now that we've got staying connected to your clients and your members at home. So, I mean, I've got a WhatsApp group that I've been added into from the gym I attend, who is sending us workouts every day via WhatsApp and little accountability messages. A lot of people are starting online programs like yourself. You've got the nutrition thing on the side as well. It looked like it was going to be doomsday, but a lot of people are actually stepping up and doing really well by their members. So I think it's really cool. Yeah.
And what do you feel the people, or you go to a gym, you said yourself, that are in a similar situation to us? As a member, what type of things are valuable for you, and do you think is going to be valuable for the larger community in these gyms in this situation?
It's literally just that connection with the trainers, because we know that, YouTube has got 5 million workouts on it that you can access for free any time of the day. But the reason is that no one's doing them is because there's no one to get you excited about it and motivate you and check in on you. And so I think it's, the connection from the trainers going the extra mile and kind of being honest and open and saying, like, we need your support now as well, more than ever. If you've been a good trainer and a good gym, then the proof's in the pudding. Like, your members will stick around and help you through. It's the personal connection, I think, is the most important thing.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, as a gym owner, that was is one of my fears, is that sure, this novelty of this online training is all exciting maybe for a week or two. Then the reality kicks in, and it is very difficult to motivate yourself at home. To at the end of the day, if you've been sitting in front of the computer, it's quite draining because you're not moving your body physically. And the last thing you want to do is get up and train. So how do you get through that? I mean, I know you're still working, but how do you get through that sticking point where, when it comes to shove?
Yeah, man. I mean, I do have less routine at the moment because my wife's working from home now. And so it used to be we get up at 6 a.m. and I would, she'd go off to work. I'd go down to the beach and work out, and that was my routine. That's gone now. And so we'll find ourselves right now. This is kind of the time I'd generally be fitting a workout in before I go off to the restaurant, but but I haven't done it, and there's no one no one's making me do it.
Oh, screw that, your routine.
No, it's okay. It's a rest day. It's a rest day. So I think for me, I'm lucky because I'm a few years in and I love this stuff, and it used to be my job to keep people accountable. But for me, my biggest trick is I need to do it just before either breakfast or just before dinner, and kind of make myself feel like I've earned a big, awesome meal. because that gives you a deadline. And I think it's that deadline that you need. Is you can't say I'm going to work out today. It's I'm going to work out before breakfast, or I've got to have my workout done before dinner. And otherwise, it keeps ticking over.
Yeah,
until
yeah. I think that's a really big
I'll
point.
do it later.
We had a member come in yesterday who said, even though she's not working at the moment, she might get up at 10 a.m., but she still does a workout at 5 p.m. on the dot when she used to do the classes, just because if there's no, like you said, there's no deadline, it's a blur. It can be anywhere, and it can also not happen as well.
Yeah, I've been up for 3 hours right now. I don't know what I've done. but I've done all my mental wellness stuff, but I haven't broken a sweat yet.
Well, just speaking on that, I think that's a huge issue, this mental wellness. So a major concern for me and what I'm seeing is I know what a big part physical activity plays in mental health, plus we're being isolated, which is huge. So rather than the physicality of maybe losing a couple of centimeters around your bicep, I think the mentality is the scary thing. And the longer this goes, the longer it endures. So what, if you don't mind sharing, what type of things are you doing for the mental wellness in your morning routine?
Yeah, the biggest one was something I did.
It's all good.
Yeah, no, all good, man. The biggest one was something I did a few weeks ago, which was I deleted my Facebook app off my phone.
Okay.
Which is
don't tell our members that, because that's where we're running our online program.
Yeah. Well, just for me, it was when all this fear mongering started happening on the internet, and it was all you saw was bad news every day. I got rid of it because, that was step one for me. And then happily in the last few weeks, social media has become a lot more positive. I think there's more of a we're in this together vibe on social media now. Whereas a few weeks ago, it was all doom and gloom and like, look at these idiots fighting over toilet paper and stuff. And I didn't have time for that. And it could be very, very easy to end up sitting at home scrolling through updates on your phone, which I love social media. I make my living on social media, but I think it's absolutely, you got to definitely choose what content you're taking in, as opposed to what I do in the mornings. I'm really big on repetition, affirmations, that kind of thing, and just changing my own sort of subconscious, that sort of thing, right? And
cool.
What I'm doing at the moment is where usually I would get up, crack a dawn, hop out of bed, and go to the beach as my wife goes to work. We're waking up and we are putting on one of two sort of affirmations playlists, and some of them are about sort of happiness and success, and some of them are about we've got 2 baby girls on the way. Some of them are about healthy pregnancy and stuff. And so the first thing we do every day, we spend about 10-15 minutes of snoozing, but with positivity playing in the background. And then I get up and I get myself a little coffee. I come to my garden, which is here. I'll try and show you. I come to my garden, which I'm very, very blessed to have. And I sit here like this with my feet on my on my table, and I have my little black coffee. And I spend about 20-30 minutes of my own routine of sort of affirmations, gratitude. Sometimes I'm writing stuff down in a journal. Sometimes I'm watching positive imagery on my laptop screen and listening to nice music. And it's just literally about it's about taking control of my day and my mindset before I jump into everyone else's on the phone. And that's all I need, is about 20 minutes of just really being in control of what I'm taking in, and it's all as positive as possible.
Yeah, there's a saying I like, it's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. So things like this aren't necessarily difficult. I mean, I know the situation is completely different when you have kids. I don't have any kids, and I know you've got a couple on the way, but I imagine it would be much more difficult to get that time. But it's trying to fit it in ways that you can. So you do have to have a shower in the morning, more than likely. So maybe just lock the door when you're having a shower and put the music on then, or just trying to find some sort of time, right? To even 10 minutes.
That's it, man.
your space.
There's as much as there's negative content everywhere, there's positive content everywhere as well. And if we're able to utilize, we all are on the internet more than ever before. If we're able to utilize the internet and hopefully, check into things like this, like real conversations, and whether it's music that makes you feel good or conversations that make you think, or there's just endless amounts of good stuff on the internet to make you feel good, and with headphones. And the other thing I say is, I used to do this stuff kind of privately, but now my wife and I just play this stuff together and see if you've got a family, get some positivity into their heads as well. They don't have to sit in front of the TV screen.
Why hold it into yourself, right?
Make your routine your family's routine.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, but it's not hard. So the little steps that it's not like people look at the big picture. I want to be X, Y, Z. I want to do X, Y, Z. But it's never you do one thing and you get there. It's these tiny little decisions you make and things you do that piece by piece get you to that end result that you're looking for. And rather than focusing on that end goal, I think it's really valuable to focus on what can I do, or what small piece can I do today and do consistently that will eventually get me to that end point. And once you break it down into these bite-sized pieces, I think it becomes a lot more manageable.
Yeah, man. Same as doing a workout, right? You never say I'm going to go in and do 50 reps of bench press, but if you say I'm going to do 5 sets of 10, it makes it a lot easier.
Exactly. And you're still getting the same volume done. And there's going to be days where you might rest longer than others, or you might miss that. But one day out of 365 is a lot better than not doing anything at all,
That's it. You've still got 364 days ahead.
Yeah, exactly right. I think for me personally, like one thing that's really helped is just talking. So I used to be, like, I'm not a big talker. I'm an introvert, but I used to coach and I'm talking there. I'm used to one-on-one, be talking there. But now I'm stuck in the office on the computer. And I realize I increase my energy huge. Like, I'll have a lot more energy after this conversation. I'll have a lot more energy after I do a Skype call or Zoom or whatever with my family or friends. Yesterday I reached out to our members, and just by talking, it increases your daily energy. You know what I mean? Then you have it available. So I think I really feel for people that are actually living by themselves right now and potentially even working from home, because that can very easily become a downward spiral unless they're actively doing the easy things. That it's not hard to pick up a phone, but it's also easy not to do that as well.
Yeah, for sure. And that's on this on that note, like in the same way that we can choose to go and sit down and watch Netflix or do a workout at home, same thing. If you find yourself there's an unproductive part of your afternoon or your morning or whatever, when you're just in a YouTube circle looking at cats or whatever, you just that's the perfect time to know that most other people right now are doing the same thing, and to reach out and give someone a ring. I've connected with so many people I never talked to throughout this isolation period. Friends from back in England, friends from school and stuff like that, just to check in. And everyone appreciates the call because everyone's a bit less busy.
Yeah. Well, I've actually heard a lot of people increase in terms of busyness, depends on the industry, but I think they're yearning for that connection as well right now. I think that, like you said earlier, the thing that's going to hold these online workouts together is that connection, and that, just having someone there to hold you accountable.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I need someone writing me about my workouts, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I know one of your other passions is obviously nutrition and food, and you've been on a bit of a journey yourself with all that, and you understand the importance of feeding yourself, of nourishing yourself, I guess.
Yep.
And as well, I think in terms of this mental side, what you're putting in your body is, you feed your mind with trash. What do you get? Trash. Feed your body with trash. What do you get? Trash results as well. So what tips or simple tips do you utilize, or have you seen work really well that can you throw out there nutritionally? The really simple tips.
My idea has always been, because I've come from restaurants and being a chef and not coming from being like a traditional nutrition and training guy, I've always had, you know, a passion for the indulgence and the less healthy stuff as well. And so
How do you make that possible, you know?
Yeah, well, my method's always just been, don't focus on the stuff that's, is that for me?
Yeah.
How good.
How good.
and speaking of, so my wife just brought me some homemade honeycomb, right? Not the healthiest breakfast in the world, but this is perfect timing. Thank you, Ali. I don't try to focus on so much of the bad stuff going in. I focus on how much of the good stuff I can get. And because when you are full of good nutrition, you really crave the shit a lot less. If you're able to, you know, in the morning, make sure that maybe I'm a bit of a faster. I don't eat breakfast that often, but if you're going to eat breakfast, you're getting your protein source in there. You're getting a good fat, whether that's from eggs or avo, or from a good yogurt, or from some oats and a healthy non-dairy milk or dairy milk or whatever. Then you're going to be much less likely to crave that 10 a.m. sugar hit. And if you sit down and for lunch, you actually take some time away from your computer and make yourself a wrap or a sandwich or a big salad, and you're packing it with, once again, veggies, micronutrients, and lots of water, and, you know, a decent protein source. It doesn't have to be fancy. Then once again, your energy levels are going to be much more consistent throughout the afternoon, rather than getting the carb-only meal, which sends you skyrocketing and then you drop just as fast. Yep. So I think I don't ever make myself feel guilty about the shit. Like, I run a burgers and fried chicken shop, you know, outside of this, whilst being a sort of nutrition coach. I don't feel guilty if I have some fried chicken at work, because I know that my body's full of good stuff that's keeping it going. I enjoy that. And I think that's going to be the main thing when people are at home. We've got the fridge at home. If your fridge is 90% stocked with goodies, good stuff, just those bags of salad you can get, and make sure you've got some free range eggs in there, and make sure you've got, most things are pretty easy to get now that everyone's stopped panic buying. You can get chicken and mince and whatever. If you make sure all that stuff's there, then at the end of the night, if, you know, you're feeling a bit down on yourself and you want to Uber Eats some Ben & Jerry's from the servo, because you're a millionaire, then just don't feel too bad about it, because just the same as working, it's like almost like a bank account almost. Like, you got to put the deposits in of healthy stuff every day, so that when you take out a little bit, it's not so much of an issue. But if you're taking out more than you put in, then that's when you're going to go broke.
100%. So there's a few tips that I give our members. So one thing that's worked really well for me, you just touched on it, is I try not to have the crap in my house. Because that just works for me, because people go, oh, you're so disciplined. I'm like, I'm not. I just don't buy it. If it's in front of me, I'm going to eat it. So, and then if I'm out and stuff, the volume is very different, right? If it's in my house, I'm going to have it more than likely every single day. But if I'm out and about and I go, you know, like you said, buy a burger, it's a burger over the week. It's not a burger every single day because it's out in front of me or whatever it is.
Yep.
One other pattern I've noticed with myself is, you also mentioned, is the sugars. So the more crap and I consume, the more I crave it. So I think in this environment, fasting could potentially be an awesome opportunity for those that are particularly working from home, because I would say probably 95% of the day is that you get up, what are you doing? You're lying down in bed, get up, sit down, have your coffee, maybe walk 5 steps to the computer. You know, you're hardly walking. You might get 1,000 steps in the whole day. You don't need the amount of calories you might have in your day-to-day. And that's it could be a really easy way or for people to implement, is just fast through the morning. It might take a while to get used to, particularly if you've been used to, you know, simple carbohydrates or whatever you want to call them. It might feel like hell for a day or two, but your body will accustom, and then I think it could be a nice strategy to get through this period.
For sure, man. I've hydrating, water, sparkling water, and then kind of 0-calorie sort of caffeine sources like black tea, weak black coffee, green tea, that sort of thing. Really, really gets you through. I think a lot of the time we think we want a snack, we're actually just a bit dehydrated, or our energy levels are dropping from our last snack, so
That's
we don't
really
need it.
point.
Yeah, our body wants the it needs an energy boost. But most of the time, it's not food. We can live for days without food, and suddenly, we go up until 11 a.m. without breakfast, and we
We're
want to
freaking
kill
out.
someone. Yeah.
And I think that's a sign that potentially they've been feeding to, like you were saying, deposits and withdrawals. Probably taking a bit too many withdrawals if that's the case. If they can't go a few hours without needing food, I think it's a bit of an indicator.
Your body adapts really fast. Your body takes
does.
up routines really quickly. So if you start eating breakfast every morning and you start having sugar or carbs first thing every morning, you're going to adapt to that. But just as quickly, you can adapt to a healthy routine.
Yeah, 100%.
Gotta stick it out. Stick it out.
Man, I think we've covered a really good tips there. I know you got to get off to work, but I'll ask you with maybe what are 3 tips that you think are going to be really useful in this current environment and that you've seen work with clients and yourself or friends, family in the past, but maybe particularly biased to this current environment.
Okay. One would be utilize the fact that we're not eating out and we're not ordering in so much to actually get yourself a repertoire of 5 to 10 dishes you can now make. Come out of this thing with a lot more ability to knock up a meal with what's in the fridge and not have to rely on eating out or making excuses so much. The reason my sort of weight loss journey was so easy for me was because I could knock up a quick, healthy meal easily. I've never done a diet. I've always just known how to cook. If you can use this time to get onto Jamie Oliver's new quarantine cooking show on YouTube, or write down a list of recipes that you and your family love. My wife's doing this now. She can't cook. We teach her how to cook. Like 8 to 10 recipes that she can come out of this thing knowing how to do.
Yeah, perfect.
That's a massive.
I'll take you up on that because I hate cooking. Yeah, but I'll take that challenge up. That's cool.
And yeah, look, learn how to make, and that's why some of the things on your recipe site are literally how to make poached eggs, or how to make an omelet, or how to cook a piece of fish nicely. Yeah. Massive, simple stuff. But if you can turn a meal from being a slog and being like, oh, far out, I don't want to do this, this is a nightmare, I've got shit everywhere, to like, okay, I've got 6 things in the fridge. Yeah, just learn a few techniques. Then that's going to be number 1 for me. 2 would definitely be to explore some kind of fasting. I think lowering your calories at each meal is tough because we're so used to having a bigger meal. But I think if you can do, and not skipping meals, it's a conscious effort to put a longer period in between your first and last meal of the day. Like a good sort of 14 to 16 hour period. I think that's a really helpful thing. I'm doing it at night at the moment because I work in the evenings. I exercise in the mornings, and I don't eat from 5 p.m. Until about, this is my fast breaking right now.
Hitting it up with the sugar, honeycomb.
Not ideal, but exploring that, giving it a go, and using techniques like mineral water and putting a little sprinkle of like sea salt and lemon into a big bottle of water and sipping that. Using this, exploring fasting to keep your calories in check is massive. And it also, if you're focusing on something like that, that's going to keep your mindset in check as well. Because as well, if you're in a good routine with one thing, it naturally flows over to the other aspects of your life. I think is massive. And thirdly, I think it's a time to really just focus on what you can do and what you can't do. I think is the next big thing. A lot. That's just might sound like some airy fairy kind of mindset nonsense, but a lot of people on Instagram. Oh, remember when we could go out? Throwback to when we could actually leave the house or whatever like that, and focus on picking up something that you can do. Or my wife started making jewelry because she's living at home. It's awesome. My sister is also got kicked off her uni campus, so she's living in our granny flat. She's started making like kombucha and all this kind of stuff. Like, just focus on something you can do that you would otherwise be doing something else. Don't think about, I'm not able to do that now. Think, I've finally got an opportunity to start that thing I wanted to start, whether it's a side hustle or a freaking making jewelry or drawing or working out or cooking, whatever. There's opportunity here that I think it's all about perspective in a massive shift like this.
100%. Love the advice, mate. I'll let you go. I know you got work, but I appreciate your time. Appreciate all you've done for us and the community. We love you. Have a great day.
Oh, gee, man. No, that was lovely. Thanks, man. I will see you soon. Take care of yourself. Give lots of love to Paulie from me.
Will do. Speak soon.
Peace out, Benny. Bye.
See you, mate.